This is a review about a game, about a house. That house is old and rotting, but a place that I want to be. I think if I tried enough, I could burst through that front door. What would I be greeted with? More rotting? More mysteries? But that doesn't matter right now, because we have to do a review. Hey everyone, today we are talking about House by Marn S. and why, in my opinion, you should check it out. House is a rules light, an incredibly rules light, but I think that plays to its strengths, horror game in which you discover a haunted house. You make your way through the hallways with your friends and you discover what type of secrets and what type of mysteries and what is going on in your own life within this house. There are a couple things here that I really like about this game. First is how bare bones it is. I'm a firm believer that horror only gets better when you remove all the flashy mechanics and really anything that kind of distracts from the atmosphere of a game, and House really does that. It is an incredibly simple rule set, but in that simplicity are some really thought-provoking questions and some really interesting ways in how you create this house. I mean, even the game rules itself are super simple. Minimum type on white pages in a very simplistic font, but I think that actually plays really well, especially when the first line is, "This is a game about a house." I don't know, I can't get that line out of my head. It's so evocative, and it's like, this is what this is, and it's exactly that. It doesn't need to be more. Along with that, this game does collaborative storytelling fantastically. I'm a huge fan of collaborative storytelling, and I've actually been leaning towards more games that are more about having everyone have control at the table when you're telling a story, and House does this really well. When you start the game, you actually have to go through all these questions. Why are you at this house? What time do you get to the house? How are your characters feeling when you get to this house? Are you reluctant to go in? These are all things you are going to talk about with the table before you even enter the front door of this house. When I was reading through this game, I really kept thinking that this is kind of like a gamified version of telling ghost stories around a campfire. The simplicity here, along with everyone kind of putting their input, just makes this a really great way to get it with your friends, get a deck of cards, and just tell a story about a scary haunted house. The last thing I want to talk about is something I haven't actually alluded to yet in this review, but I think it's something you kind of have to experience for yourself. All I'll say is, when you are reading through the game rules here, when you are reading through what you have to do to play this, there is a story going on throughout the pages. I'm a huge sucker for any time rule books or games kind of have this narrative, have this like experimental thing going on within its pages, and it really helps the game here, because as you're reading through the rules, you're also reading through this kind of scary story going on with it, really getting you into the headspace to create this haunted house. If you are looking to pick up House, which I highly recommend, you can head over to Marn S's itch.io page. So yeah, that was a review about a game, about a house that I need to go check out. Goodbye, everyone.